here. And there it is. All right. This is episode 4. It's called Episode 4, Two Superpowered Beings Living Ideal Suburban Lives Suspect Not Everything is as It Seems. If anybody's in here, feel free to use the chat. And we're hitting play. It looks like the parole officer from Ant-Man is in this episode from the thumbnail.
Previously on Wandavision, I'm Wanda.
And there's Geraldine, who we now know is Monica Rambeau. The recap's going on now. Feel free to say hi, guys. Use the chat right there. And I'm Victor, if you don't know me, saying hi.
What do you mean she has no home? She came here because we're all. She came here because we're all what?
What is that?
Uh-oh. I mean, we know Vision's kind of getting hep to what's going on, so we'll see what happens. And Geraldine gets thrown out of wherever we are. Maria and Monica. Okay. I think we're getting a flashback to Captain Marvel. Oh, there we go. Brie Larson voice cameo. Looks like she was reformed somehow. What's going on here? Oh, maybe we're showing what's happening, how this happened in the first place. Oh, the snap. Oh, Monica got snapped. And undersnapped or unsnapped. So she was snapped and killed when Thanos came, and she got unsnapped. That's interesting. Well, that kind of explains her age. So I guess Monica was in the hospital when her mom from Captain Marvel was there. And her mom must have died. And she snapped when her mom died.
I might have fallen asleep, but no longer than 20 minutes. Where's my mom? Your mom? She died, honey.
Oh, I was right.
No, you're mistaken. My mother, the procedure went well. You said so yourself. Clean margins, you're discharging her today. The cancer came back. Okay, stop. No, my mom is Maria Rambeau. Look it up.
Yeah, so Monica's mom died of cancer at some point during the 5 years of the Thanos snap.
No, which was 2 years after you. After our life. After our what? After you disappeared.
Yep. Alright, so that's what we know right now, is Monica got snapped by Thanos. So she was gone for 5 years, and in that time period, like 2 years in, her mom, Brie Larson's best friend from Captain Marvel, died of cancer. So that's interesting. It's nice to see the snap referenced in something. And feel free to use the chat to talk to me. There we go. S.W.O.R.D headquarters. Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. So sentient weapon, not world. So that means like they, not outer space, but living people who are walking weapons of mass disruption. Interesting spin.
I have a meeting with...
You know who this is?
This guy.
Captain Monica Rambeau.
Director Tyler Hayward.
Acting director.
Tyler Hayward. I'm going to look him up. See if he's a MCU character.
Sam surprise guy.
How are the
No,
numbers for the
doesn't look
astronaut
like
training
it.
program?
Dismal. Lost half my personnel on the blip, and half of those remaining.
The blip, not the snap, the blip.
It hasn't been the same since you've been up there, Rambo. Shifted away from manned missions and refocused on robotics, nanotech, AI, sentient weapons, like it says in the book.
It also says observation and response.
Interesting. So, like, basically, S.W.O.R.D is there to stop, like, supervillains like, Ultron or, robots or mutants, I suppose.
Listen, Monica, I just
Anyone with powers would be a sentient weapon.
I know S.W.O.R.D's your home. Your mom built this place from the ground up. You grew up here. You should have been here to help name the replacement.
Oh, so it looks like somebody like Captain Marvel would be a sentient weapon, and Nick went on to do S.H.I.E.L.D. and Monica's mom Maria went on to do S.W.O.R.D. Intriguing.
The FBI is in a tizzy over a missing persons case up in Jersey.
Missing persons.
I know, but they've requested use of one of our imaging drones and
Missing person case in Jersey. So Wellview is in New Jersey.
You don't have to worry about me.
So we're getting the backstory on what's been going on the past 3 episodes right now, basically.
you're grounded.
I'm sorry, what?
Terrestrial missions only.
You kidding? For how long? Whose protocol is this?
Your mother's. She implemented guidelines in the event.
Oh, so this is right after the blip. So she went to S.W.O.R.D. and she can't go into outer space.
Takeaway.
What's that?
She believed you'd come back.
So we're like still like before Endgame happened.
You need more time.
No. I'm good to go.
Excellent. Keep me updated, Captain.
And her rank is Captain. Captain Monica Rambeau. I think the last name Rambo is funny because it doesn't sound like, hey, yo, Rambo. Again, if you're watching this on the YouTube page, there's a chat function right on the right side of the screen where it says top chat. Just drop it down and you can ask me questions. I can talk to you while this is happening.
James E. Wu.
There's James Wu. Oh, Wu's in the FBI now.
Rambo, S.W.O.R.D. What's the story here, Agent Wu?
I've got a witness set up down the road in Westview.
He was just was he in the FBI in Ant-Man? I don't remember now.
Protection program.
I've contacted known associates, relatives.
And let me guess, none of them have seen him either.
No. None of them have ever heard of him. Something seemed hinky to me, so I took the first flight out of Oakland to interface with local law enforcement, which is when I encountered a new wrinkle.
What is that?
Pardon me, Sheriff. Would you mind repeating your claim about Westview to my colleague?
Oh, now we're finding out about Westview.
You're saying the town of Westview, New Jersey doesn't exist?
That's what I keep telling your G-man here, but he...
Looks like that cop's car says 1966. So they might be projections or they're being puppeteered by Scarlet Witch within the simulated world. That's my working theory right now.
So you can't reach anyone inside and everyone on the outside has some sort of selective amnesia.
Nobody outside of the bubble has ever heard of the town, so Scarlet Witch and Aim or whatever's going on in there,
Why haven't you gone inside to
it's
investigate?
pretty...
Because it doesn't want me to. You can feel it too, can't you?
Oh, certain people can go in the town and certain people can't. This reminds me of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, where if you leave the town, you get your memory back. If you go in, you forget. Oh, and there's the drone. The drone from episode 2.
What about you?
Me?
So we're seeing everything that led up to her going into,
Growing up, other kids had Michael Jordan
you
posters
know,
on their walls, but I had Elliot Ness.
everything leading up to episode 3. So she's flying the drone into WandaVision world.
It's because we are outside of a certain radius, or maybe because we don't have a personal connection.
So, considering how quickly this happens,
Wait, where'd he go?
this is all before Endgame. Interesting. So all of WandaVision is happening a few years before Endgame. So we have a definitive timeline now. Nice TV scan lines there.
What is it?
Some sort of.
This is also means that this happens before Spider-Man Far From Home, where Nick is part of S.W.O.R.D.
Rambo. Watch it.
And she got sucked in.
Captain Rambo. Captain Rambo.
So Wu is outside, and Monica got sucked into WandaVision world. 24 hours later. So, okay. I'm guessing we're about where episode 3 would be on the outside. Oh, and there's Darcy from Thor.
Hey. What's your field?
We're not supposed to talk to each other.
Oh, Boy Scout leader, got it. And you?
Nuclear biology.
I like Kat Dennings.
Astrophysics. We got a full clown car.
Oh, they definitely are.
Red is, or clearly has no idea what they're dealing with.
Is this Darcy's third appearance? Yes, because she was in Thor and Thor 2, The Dark World, and that's it. So this is her third appearance. And she wasn't in Endgame. That was just Jane. S.W.O.R.D. response base outside Westview, New Jersey.
Miss Lewis.
Dr. Lewis.
Oh, Darcy's a doctor. She's coming up in the world. She's on Jane level now. And they're sending in more advanced drones. Wait, how is it before Endgame? Wasn't Wanda snapped out and didn't
I'm
come?
afraid that's highly classified.
You can't see anything?
Was Wanda snapped?
FBI, Army,
Maybe she-
Office of Special Investigations.
Then how does that explain
Research lab,
her being
Space
blipped?
Command 2.
Okay, so maybe it's not before Endgame,
Really looking
and
forward
she's
to
just
it.
been wandering and just came back to S.W.O.R.D. So she's so alright. I can buy it not being after Endgame. Alright. Thanks for clearing that up for me, guys.
Make your assessment, please.
So that just tells us Monica was oh yeah, and she was unblipped. Okay, no, I get it now because the unblip, unsnapped happened in Endgame. I was confused. You guys got me. Back on tap.
CM,
Cosmic microwave background radiation.
we've been told the radiation is within a safe limit.
It is.
Yeah.
For now.
You're right. So when Wanda got unsnapped, so did Monica. And then, oh, Darcy's playing sick or something. So that means after she was unsnapped, Monica spent some time doing stuff on her own and just recently got back into S.W.O.R.D. So this is all current. This is as current as we are then. All right.
I need a TV. An old one. Like, not flat.
Oh, all right. So now we know that Darcy's been the person watching the WandaVision episodes in the last 3 episodes. Because she was, you need an old TV to watch them, and somebody was watching them from S.W.O.R.D, so it was Darcy. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Is Pietro coming back in this episode? I don't know. I would think they would hold it off an episode. This seems to just be letting us know what was going on the outside world during the last 3 episodes.
Hayward, between you, me, and the bedpost, I am not confident about this mission.
Thanks for the feedback, Jimmy.
Basically, I think they're just we've got a lot of slow build, and now they're kind of telling us what's actually going on.
Extend subterraneously.
There's no reason to suspect it does.
We don't know enough about the nature of the threat to send in another agent when the first is yet to return.
Someone must really miss you back at Quantico.
No, sir. Softball season's over, sir.
I like Wu. He's good comic relief. I think he makes a good replacement. If we're gonna have like a relatable government liaison guy, he makes a good replacement for Coulson.
Someone.
Not that he's in S.W.O.R.D, but I'm sure he'll end up in S.W.O.R.D or something by the end of this.
What was that? Who's doing that?
Oh, so they just turned on the old TV and they're realizing it's an alternate TV world. All right, Darcy's tuned into the TV and they're watching episode 1 of WandaVision, essentially.
Look, I know it's been a crazy few years on this planet, but he's dead, right?
All right, confirmation that Vision is dead.
Excellent plan. Wes, attend to us. What am I looking at? You. What is this? Where is this coming from?
Out there.
You can answer the back door for your upside down cake. Oh, hi.
And I'm pretty... Alright, so how many characters in Wanda's world are part of S.W.O.R.D and who's part of Mephisto? I don't think Mephisto has anything to do with this.
My equipment registered.
I think eventually we're going to find out
Getting back to the Big Bang.
that, you know, Wanda had some kind of breakdown, or maybe she had something to do with AIM, and AIM was trying to help her get over her grief from Vision, but I don't think Mephisto has anything to do with this.
So you're saying the universe created a sitcom starring 2 Avengers?
Meta.
It's a working theory.
Get me a transport back to headquarters now.
The stork was Mephisto. It's confirmed by them. I don't know. That doesn't sound right to me.
Now, people. Let's go.
I've seen a lot of Mephisto
Hey, thanks.
theories. I don't buy it yet.
Or not.
I feel like this is kind of like their version of No More Mutants. I think it's
Aww.
an AIM project to get her over her grief for Vision's death. All right, confirmation I was right about Darcy being the person watching the TV show.
But originally, this
They're getting a bunch more TVs.
Start there. We successfully identified 2 individuals inside the Westview anomaly. Let's keep going.
All right, I think now we're gonna find out that these are actual people. In that, yep. All right, so now we got proof that the people in Westview are being
Mr. and Mrs. Hart.
kind of controlled. Why hexagonal? Yeah, the Hearts were actual people and they're being controlled by this simulation.
Agent Wu. Avilash Tandon is Norm.
Why hexagonal shape? See, now they're just fucking with us. It's getting way meta.
We got Isabel Matsueda.
No, everyone in Wanda's world is a member of the town. Those are just S.W.O.R.D files, I think. It says S.W.O.R.D citizen profile.
Does she seem okay to you?
Well, she doesn't appear to be harmed in any way.
Well, and then Geraldine is hasn't been totally controlled, apparently.
Deep cover. Monica has to play along.
With whom? Or else what?
All right, confirmation that Monica's pretending to be Geraldine.
Reality, time travel, some cockamamie social experiment?
It's a sitcom. A 1950s sitcom.
But why?
Hey man, we're working with the same scarcity of intel.
Nice. We're working with the same scarcity of intel.
You have an idea. So, you've seen that radio on Wanda's kitchen counter, right?
I think essentially the people in the town kind of have been given parts, and a few of them have kind of broken control when like the drones have come in and such.
Allow us to speak direct
I think Agnes and Herbert kind of know, starting to pick up what's going on, but they're afraid because they don't want to die or something. I get it. I'd be afraid too.
Aired about 2 minutes ago.
What is it?
What does it look like to you?
Like a retro version of a S.W.O.R.D drone?
Bingo.
But how did it change and why?
Oh, the town the
Very useless.
so apparently the force field in the world is turning things 50s ish. I think we're gonna learn a lot about what's going on in the world in this episode. We already are. We're getting tons of intel dumps.
Jimmy, you ready?
All right.
Jimmy, Monica is talking to Wanda. She's got a speaking part now.
What is she saying?
Those pants are peachy keen.
She likes Wanda's pants.
She likes Wanda's pants.
Ugh, Wanda's at some sort of swim club. We've never been here before.
Is it the 60s still?
Wanda's with another character.
Real person.
This is funny because I feel this episode is sort of making fun of all of us trying to figure out what's going on.
Wanda, can you read me? Over. Can you hear me?
Oh, right now we're getting an explanation between the help me Wanda and how Connie broke out of the spell for a second.
Wanda, who's doing this to you, Wanda? Wanda, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's doing this to Wanda. I'm still trying to figure out how the aim hexagons work into this, but I feel maybe we'll find out that So was there any scene where episode 3 was smiling and being creepy? No, she wasn't smiling. She was kind of being creepy at the end, though.
It's worth a try. Good effort, Doctor.
You know, it's like nothing's wrong, you know? Oh, the force field's acting up now. All right, here's our beekeeper. Is, you know, in the S.W.O.R.D outfit. And he's coming in from underground. So, okay, the beekeeper is not an AIM guy. I think it might have just been an homage to AIM. So when the guy in the suit goes in, he became a beekeeper. The simulation turned him into one, and he lost his link to the outside world. So I guess the AIM thing was a bust. Oh, that's cute. The cord became a jump rope. Yeah, so he became a beekeeper to go with the simulation. Yeah, I think we're in a House of M kind of deal. Like, just Wanda created this reality on her own.
1950s, 1960s.
AIM, though? I still got it wondering if there's going to be an AIM connection because of the hexagons.
I can't believe Wanda and Vision are having a baby.
You want any?
They're eating chips watching Wandavision episode 3.
Get him a tiny little FBI badge. Oh, you took a chip? Sure.
Look at me.
They're watching Wanda give birth.
You ready? Oh, it's Wanda.
Man, that belly looks fake. There's that baby.
Twins. What a twist. Look, I'm invested.
The chips are Lay's, so that's product
Has
placement.
that happened before? A reference to our reality?
No, never.
Hey, I'll take a shift right from the babies. No, I think you should leave. Oh, Wanda, don't be like that. Who are you?
Wow, this is different.
Where'd she go?
Not again.
Oh, and that's where the episode ended. The episode ended there.
Who are you?
Wanda. There's nothing here. One second, Monica is standing right there, and the next she is.
So they didn't see what happened.
Someone is censoring
Where she
the
got.
broadcast.
But where's Rand?
Someone is censoring the broadcast. Is that AIM? Is that AIM?
Who are you?
I like those scan lines. Oh, the screen's getting bigger. Now we're in the world here.
Wanda, I'm just your neighbor. And how could you know about Ultron?
Now we're getting stuff about Ultron that we didn't know before. Oh, Wanda's using her powers.
You're definitely not my friend.
How'd you know about Ultron? You're not my friend. You're a stranger and an outsider.
Right now you are trespassing here. And I want you.
Alright, so now there's very little here to prove that this isn't all Wanda's concoction. Unless we see some proof otherwise. Oh, now Wanda's using her powers to fix all the buildings she destroyed. This is very interesting. There's Vision.
Where is Geraldine?
Now we're cutting to Geraldine out in the outside world since Wanda just threw her out of Wandaland.
Oh, she left, honey. She had to rush home.
And now we have confirmation that Oh, and we just saw dead Vision. Vision zombie.
What's wrong?
Yeah. So, yeah, Vision doesn't know what's going on. Vision, it might be an animated robot corpse or just a complete creation of Wanda's at this point.
This is our home.
Are you sure?
Don't worry, darling. I have everything under control.
All right. There we go. Wanda is controlling everything. Vision doesn't know shit. He might not even be real. He might just be an animated corpse at this point. And Monica says it's all Wanda.
What should we watch?
And now their Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix is playing as Vision looks confused. Because those kids are voodoo children whipped up by her magic. Oh, really? Is the episode really going to end there? Questions. Oh my god, so much now. Alright, so a lot of shit was debunked here. We now know all the Mephisto shit was complete garbage. This is all kind of Wanda. It feels like the AIM stuff might have all just been a red herring too. Although, I don't know. I feel like I'm still kind of holding on to how did this happen in the first place. Maybe AIM had something to do with that. But everyone in the town is actually being controlled. Yeah, it's the end of the episode. Yeah, so Wanda's controlling everything in the town. She's under control. Vision is not Vision, or is just animated by Wanda. The kids are also a creation of Wanda. So this is all kind of like a House of M / Vision miniseries for the comic book people. You know, she's kind of created this perfect world. Now that all the LED screens are building houses and stuff. Wow, lot to digest here. S.W.O.R.D is a sentient weapon, or basically it's what Ross wanted with the Sokovia Accords, a way to control superpowered people. I'm just still watching in case we get something, which I doubt. No, we're not going to get anything, I don't think. Oh my god, what did you guys think? I'm kind of shook right now. Shook. Yes, the episode is over. It just ended. Yeah, so basically, for those who just tuned in, were wondering what happened, we just got like a big info dump. Basically, this is all Wanda's created this little TV world, taking over this town. No one remembers it. Only certain people can go in. Everyone in the town is a real person that's being controlled by Wanda's influence to think they belong in this world. And yeah, it's over. It's like telling me to, because you watch Wandavision, watch Age of Ultron, you know. But yeah, that's all we got for this week. A lot of the theories debunked. The guy who was climbing out of the sewer man grate was just a S.W.O.R.D agent who got turned into a beekeeper by Wanda's magic. There's no Mephistoing going on. It's all Wanda, and we saw when she looked at Vision, all she saw was dead Vision with his mind gem ripped out and turned gray. So we don't know if she's animating him somehow or using his her magic to kind of keep him alive somehow, or if he's just a complete creation. Either way, he's uneasy with everything that's going on, so they're keeping Vision in the dark. Yeah, and clearly, Wanda straight up said, "How did you know about Ultron?" when she threw Monica out of there. Yeah, now we know that Monica or Geraldine was Monica Rambeau, Maria Rambeau's daughter from Captain Marvel, and that her mom died during the Thanos snap of cancer, and that this is all happening after Endgame. And now Darcy from Thor is a doctor, just like Jane. So yeah. And there is no end credit scene. That's all we get. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, because, like, man, that was a lot. That was a lot to go through right there. Very good episode, though. So next week, we're all going to be caught up, and probably we're going to get the 80s episode. Yeah, it was a good episode. I think this is the episode we needed right now to get us all caught up with everything. I'm glad this debunked, because I think some of the WandaVision theories, no, it was story progress. Like, I think we needed this. We got what was going on the outside world. We learned that S.W.O.R.D is actually the sentient weapon and sentient weapon ordnance and response department, something like that. But basically, their job is to stop superpowered beings. You know, they're like, you know, kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D. for metahumans or whatever. And Monica's mom was one of the founders because her relationship with Captain Marvel, and that Monica was one of the early agents of that. So we got basically like all of Monica / Geraldine's backstory. And that Randall Wu was in town for a missing persons case. Because he's an FBI agent now. He was not just like a parole officer. Well, I guess he was an FBI agent in Ant-Man, because Ant-Man was like a super powered, criminal released from the raft and all that, I think. So yeah, he was always an FBI agent. But, and then we also got Darcy from Thor. So we've got a lot of side characters from, some of the lower end Marvel movies kind of coming in here. And we're finding out that basically Wanda's behind the whole town. It wasn't AIM. It wasn't Mephisto. It wasn't Agatha Harkness. I don't know why everyone thought Agnes was Agatha Harkness for some reason. So yeah, this just shoots down a lot of the crazier theories. So yeah, story progress, and now we know that Wanda's behind everything, and that Vision is in the dark, and the people in her town are kind of like her hostages, which is a little crazy. Now we know the Sokovia Accords are probably a good thing, right? Oof, that kind of sucks. I hate how the Marvel universe keeps trying to make Tony Stark right in Civil War. Like, yeah, these super beings really need to be like cataloged and watched like cattle. Like, ugh, I don't like that message. Makes me uneasy, But whatever. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Unless you guys have any more questions, I can end the stream, But yeah, so Wanda's the villain. Essentially, I would say she's a grief victim. She just wants to be with Vision, and Vision's dead. And what we saw is Wanda's making him look alive. She looked at Vision when he came in the room, and he was the grayed out, dead Vision, and her magic is kind of animating him, So he's either the corpse being animated by Wanda or just a projection, and this is how she's keeping Vision alive. There's also a lot of meta jokes in this episode from like the people behind it, kind of making fun of all the crazy theories people have coming in here about it. Like, what do the hexagons mean? They might not mean anything. She's going to end up like one in Doctor Strange 2, so this series won't end good for her. That's altogether possible. I mean, it'd be hard to see how she wouldn't end up in the raft or some kind of super meta-human prison after this, because she's taking an entire town hostage just so she can keep Vision alive, which seems kind of sad and creepy. I'm actually like wondering like where are the Avengers when this is going on? Like, wouldn't they be like, dude, Wanda, what's going on? Or somebody from S.W.O.R.D should like go up to, are there Avengers out? I would have to think so. We haven't heard, but like I would be like, dude, isn't Wanda an Avenger? What's going on here? I mean, let's do the facts here. I mean, Captain America isn't there, and then probably like Scarlet Witch is. So you could go to the Hulk. I'm sure the Hulk is. Well, there isn't even an Avengers building. See, this is kind of picking up a lot of things. Like, clearly, like Darcy knows they're Avengers, but like there's not really too many meta humans left on Earth after Endgame. I would think just like the Hulk. The people in New Asgard, maybe Ant-Man, Rhodey, that's like 4, Spider-Man, yeah, like 4 or 5, even in Spider-Man Homecoming is like, where is everybody, so yeah, it's like, the more you think about it, the more this is kind of a fucked scenario, because they don't really have any heavy hitters right now that can like, go up against Wanda or whatnot, that's my take on it. I didn't like Darcy's performance, man. It felt like watching a CW act. That, to be fair, I mean, Kat Dennings kind of just plays herself and everything, and that's kind of how she went about this. I mean, I thought the "what I'm invested" thing was also kind of meta, making fun of people watching the show, but like, still, it's a little funny. Like, I don't know what's going on there. I have my like thoughts. I'll keep talking, but I'll just like restart the episode, so at least I'm kind of like curious if a rewatch will do anything. Like, Yeah, I don't know. I honestly have my thoughts about the whole thing. It's a little bit like they've set up this whole encampment around. So we know S.W.O.R.D has replaced Shield altogether. Okay, I feel pretty confident in saying that. Um, but yeah, I would think this is a super fuck scenario they're in. Like, superpowered person takes over an entire city. It's like, eek. It seems sadder than in Thor 2. Her performance? Are you talking about? She's sadder than. Well, yeah, because she's like disconnected from the whole superhero thing. Like, she's doesn't look like she's friends with Jane, and clearly, I mean, we're not gonna get Jane and Thor in this, but it clearly makes it seem like even like Dr. Selving, you know who I'm talking about, the old guy. Like, he would be somebody I think they would bring in for this shit, you know? Selving? I'll have to look that up. But yeah, at least she's a doctor now. You know, that's a positive thing for her. But I'm sure this series will give her a lot. So I'm just restarting it so I can get a little thing. The unsnapping or unblipping looks kind of gross. Like they come back together from dust. We didn't really get that on in the movies. It's kind of a gross effect. I don't like it. And this is the first time we saw that. We didn't really see the unblipping in Spider-Man Far From Home, did we? It's just crazy seeing people come back together like shapow, shapow, shapow. But it does look gross. I don't like it. You're just like, bam. Yeah, it is kind of fucked up. I don't have a good answer for that. I mean, it's gross. I mean, I will say, I mean, Vision's made out of vibranium, so I would imagine his dead body would be just like dead organic metal. It's still gross though. You know. But yeah, I'm gonna go along. Samuel says, "Is Vision's dead body just walking around in Westview?" I mean, it sounds gross, but it kind of seems that way. It does kind of seem that way. I would, you know, at first I was thinking, oh, maybe he's just a vision, but I would have to argue that he actually is Vision's dead body being animated by Wanda's magic. Simi says, I interpreted that Wanda brought Vision back to life. Could we see Vision in future Marvel movies? Well, here's the thing, Simi. Like, if Vision is here's how I'm looking at what's going on here, is that Wanda has animated Vision's body with like her memories and feelings of him. So I don't and like some sense of consciousness, but like I don't think that's Vision. Like if Vision had a soul, it was probably in the mind gem where that huge missing chunk of stuff is. So I would think this is probably an excuse to bring Vision back at some point, but I think right now I would argue like without Wanda, Vision's just a dead body. Samuel says, that's some Lovecraftian type stuff. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it was gross, dude. Like, yeah. Yeah, it is kind of straight out of a horror movie, dude. I can't argue with that, you know? But it would make sense because actually, if you think about it, you know, Agnes and Herbert are interacting with Vision when Wanda's not there. So whatever animating force Wanda's giving him, he has to exist otherwise, else he'd just probably poof away when she's not in the room with him. So yeah, I'm gonna sign on to the people who are saying that's Vision's dead body animated by Wanda 100%. It's not just, you know, a vision or illusion. It's his husk, his body being animated, which is really nasty. All right, so now we just saw a picture of Maria Rambeau. So just like we see pictures of Captain America's wife at Shield Captain America's love. I guess she's his wife now in canon, right? Peggy. Captain Carter. All right, sentient weapons. I'm just looking in the background for anything here that we would recognize. See lots of jets. So, I mean, they were building spaces full of unexpected threats. Well, now we know that Nick Fury's up in space doing that stuff. And this guy, Hayward, he's not in the comics. They created him just for this show because I looked him up. You guys got any more questions? I'm all for shooting questions, you know. Tyler looks a little TV actor to me. I kind of wish they had gone like somebody whose face we recognize here, like a Lance Henriksen type or Tom Skerritt, somebody from Top Gun, you know. He just looks a little soap opera actor to me. Where's Nick Fury? Nick Fury is in space. In case you didn't see Spider-Man Far From Home, he's part of S.W.O.R.D, but he's up in space. That's why the Skrull was pretending to be him in Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah, so. Plus, it's not like they can afford to have, you know, Samuel Jackson and everything. I will say, I like this actress who plays Monica. Like, I like that she's going to be in the movie in Captain Marvel 2 and stuff. So it's like, you know, like, it's kind of like what I wish they'd done with the Netflix shows. Like, the Daredevil and those people who were in those shows would end up on the movies. And we have guarantees of that because there's movie actors in this. So it feels like it's actually part of the MCU and not just like Agents of S.W.O.R.D, which doesn't feel like it was part of shit, you know? Man, that Dead Vision scene caught me off guard. Yeah, it caught me off guard too. Like I said, I always was, up until now, I just thought Vision was like created by Wanda, like a vision or illusion or glamour, like we kept being led on. But no, he's the animated body of Vision. Okay, so Wu was there because there's a witness protection program person in Westview. Okay, that's what I missed the first time. Do they mention any of the remaining Avengers and why they aren't there? No, they don't, but they really should. I was ranting about that a little while ago. The only thing we had into this is inkling we had into this was like 2 Avengers in a TV show. How will Hydra tie this into the series or later Marvel movies? It's hard to say. I know last week's episode we had the commercial where the woman was feeling really overwhelmed by everything that was going on, and they told her, take a Hydra soak and let all your fears melt away. So I'm kind of still on the on the fence that Hydra and AIM kind of led Wanda into a scenario where she created this. I don't have anything to go on that except those hexagons, you know, but I just kind of feel between that and the commercials that might still tie in. Wu was funny. Hopefully an Avenger shows up, not just Doctor Strange. Oh, David, no, at the very beginning of the episode, you heard Captain Marvel's voice when she was being unblipped. So that was kind of like to tune the people to know that Monica was the little girl from Captain Marvel, but it was just audio from Captain Marvel, the movie. So we did hear Brie Larson's voice in this episode. I don't know. I feel like This is this? Would you guys consider this a multiverse? I mean, it's an alternate plane of reality, I suppose. You know, I kind of feel like Doctor Strange might be the one to show up to kind of like help Wanda. Somebody's gonna have to help her trauma or whatnot, because I get the feeling that Vision's not gonna come back at the end of the series. At least I don't. Yeah, maybe I think kind of think that the reason that this world exists is because Vision has to live in a contained simulation or something, because that's like a bubble of her powers. 919 says, I think the commercials represent Wanda's hardships because the beep in the toaster sounds like a Stark missile. Oh yeah, I completely agree with you. Like that was like the Stark. It helped like sound like the missile, and then the second one was like the Strucker watch. You know, so it's kind of her steps in the Marvel universe. I hope Wanda finally snaps and creates the Marvel verse. You know, it's hard to say what's going to come of this right now. I mean, we're still in early days. This is only the 4th episode. I don't know how many there are, but I think this series is kind of like their version of House of M or whatever, where she just created this alternate contained reality. She does sound sadder. I do like Kat Dennings. I'm glad that they brought her in for this. And now she's clearly our viewpoint character. I just think this will be a lot of fun to watch when it's finally all bingeable, because it'll feel more like a movie. S.W.O.R.D response base. Yeah. So does anybody have any more questions? I'll keep the stream going till the top of the hour, so that way it's a nice even hour. But I'm up for still answering more questions if you guys have any. I'm rewatching the episode to see if there's any stuff I missed for my theories and spoilers video that'll go live after this. True, sometimes I wish they'd just release them all at once. Yeah, I know. I kind of like would feel that too, but I'm actually glad they're doing it this way, because it's kind of like more satisfying to like think, oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? You know, it's kind of awesome. It's kind of fun, you know.
Is there somewhere a lady to get a cup of coffee? You guys look like you might pick out those cool pod things.
Keurig joke. But yeah, I'm kind of like, it's weird that we live in an MCU with no more S.H.I.E.L.D. I miss S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, next week I'm going to have to bring some popcorn or something, because it's kind of like a little more intense than I think it was going to be. Cosmic, so like the type of radiation, I think Vision's become aware several times of what's happening, but since Wanda's essentially controlling him, she can rewind and then he'll forget the realization, because, you know, he's basically a magical construct, or like animation, like those children. Who are the characters you wish would show up? I think, yeah, if Quicksilver showed up, I think it'd be funny if Quicksilver showed up, but he was like the Quicksilver from like the X-Men movies, like it was wrong, you know, like the wrong Quicksilver. How does the television display what's happening in the Wanda world with perfect cuts and not boring dialogue? I think the television shows like represent this idea of an ideal world. Like maybe Wanda watched sitcoms when she was a kid, and that seemed like an ideal world for her, and that's what she's trying to craft. You know? My thing is like, if there's credits and stuff, like how is it that they're able to see them? Like, can people see them inside? Like, could they bump into the credits, the words rolling? Is it like the Hunger Games where you see like the credits in the sky or something? You know, things that make you think. You know, was everyone in black and white, just went to bed in black and white and woke up and they're like, "Whoa, I'm in color now." You know, think about it. It's kind of creepy. Before they go to the couch, he stops and looks like he knows, and he can. Yeah, Crash. I kind of agree with you. I don't think Vision knows. I think he's suspicious. You know, we saw last episode he was suspicious because Agnes and Herbert are also suspicious. I mean, it's kind of like that episode of the Twilight Zone or the episode of The Simpsons where there's a kid whose lives he controls everything in the town, but everyone's afraid of him, so they just kind of play along because they know he can like kill them or whatever. Because she almost killed that Hart guy for asking too many questions, and Vision had to phase and get the food out of his throat. Remember? Looks like Fury will be in the show. I can see that. Yeah, Doctor Strange shows up. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility that could happen. You know, I think Fury is less likely than Doctor Strange. I feel like if anybody's going to show up, it would probably be Doctor Strange.
An extremely high level of CMBR. That's,
Relic radiation dating back to the Big Bang.
yeah. Entwined was a broadcast frequency, so I have your goons.
All right. Yeah, it is fun to think about that stuff. So they also brought up the idea of this cosmic radiation that's been around since the Big Bang. They're like that's the radiation that made the Fantastic Four cosmic rays. It's kind of funny that they're introducing it. Oh wait, Wanda caused the boss to choke. I think it was like an early glitch because remember he was hammering them with question after question after question, and then he suddenly started choking. So he was disrupting the perfect world, but she didn't let him die, although she almost did. And she told Vision to get the food out of his mouth. What happened to Agent Franklin after the rewind? Who's Agent Franklin? Do you mean Monica Rambeau? Because who's Agent Franklin? After the rewind, she got thrown out. Oh, Agent Franklin was the guy who went down who went up in the who went in the underground. He went through, and then his cord turned into a jump rope, and then his hazmat suit turned into a beekeeper outfit. And I get the feeling that she has, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I think he's a captive, or she killed him. That's the only two. Those are the only answers. Well, now that we know he's basically an animated corpse, it's less creepy. Well, or not, actually, it's more creepy. I just entered, so sorry if this question was asked. Do we have any guesses who the person that went missing is? Do you mean the person that Agent Wu is there for? He said it was a missing person who was in the witness protection program. So I think it's just like some criminal who's in the town somehow. Philip, the hexagon shapes are referenced on Wanda's hex power, right? At this point, it could be. I was an early proponent of it being the AIM logo, but it seems unlikely now. So that sounds like a very strong possibility. Because we learned this episode, we learned a lot of the stuff we had theorized about was wrong. So there's no Mephisto, there's no Agatha Harkness, there's no AIM or Hydra, supposedly. It's all a Wanda construct. All right. Any more questions? Because it's the top of the hour. I just want to make sure lots of people in here. And yes, the LED screen showed all the creations of things, like the house and everything. So that also kind of lends more credence to everything being like created, you know, by Wanda. This whole enclosure is like a bubble of her power, and I don't think Vision can live outside of it. The Vision husk imbued with a representation of his consciousness. If there's no Mephisto, I really hope they don't kill Wanda. Do you think they take it that far or make her an actual villain for the future? I don't think they're going to kill Wanda. I think she might be put on the shelf to recover from her grief at some point. This is the closest to her being the villain, I think. Philip, so is this series borrowing from House of M? Yes. This is basically House of M. Essentially, you know, instead of no more mutants, it's I want Vision. Just like Civil War borrowed from Civil War without being Civil War. I think she will be a villain in the next Doctor Strange movie. It's altogether possible. I mean, we just don't know yet. Simi says, what is the House of M storyline? You can Wikipedia it, but the basic gist of it is Wanda was having, you know, she has the power to create realities, you know, basically, you know, she's, you know, got to like where she's like an Omega level mutant. And one of the things is she wished this thing where there were no more mutants and created this utopia where her father, Magneto, ruled the world. And, you know, she had children with Vision just like this, and it was like her ideal universe, but there were cracks in it, and, you know, the mutants and Avengers had to go in and put Wanda down to get the real world back, essentially. Do you think Doctor Strange will be in the next episode? No. I think if Doctor Strange shows up, it's going to be how, like, Luke Skywalker was in the last episode of Mandalorian. Like, it'll be, like, in the last episode of the season. David says, are the twins fake too? I thought the villain, whoever it is, would make the twins away to make her go insane. I think they're as real as they can be in that universe, but I think they don't exist outside of that universe. They're creations. Chelsea, I wonder if all Disney Plus series will come together. Will Sam and Bucky show up in this series? Yeah, they won't show up in this, but it's all part of the MCU, you know? Right, there's the beekeeper. I'm rewatching the part with Franklin since someone asked about this. So Franklin gets out. Wanda points him out. And Vision's protecting Wanda. He says no. And I think the fact that we might see him next episode. If we don't see him again, I think it's easy enough to infer that he died. I agree with you. I don't think Wanda is evil. I think her choices are out of grief and loneliness. Because almost, you know, think about it this way. If you're Wanda, who is Wanda close to? Captain America, who, as far as everyone knows, is dead. No, actually, Philip, Agnes isn't. She's a person in the town just like Herbert and everybody else. And it's a collective delusion. We found that out this episode. You know, what about like people in the town, like Herbert and Agnes, kind of know what's going on the way Dottie or Connie did last episode. You know, and they're just kind of like, you know, her powers aren't infinite. You know, she can only delude. Think of that episode of Rick and Morty where they all had the hive mind when Unity got distracted, some of the bodies were able to break free of her control. That's an easier way to think about it. Madness Arcade. Yes, I agree with your comment. David, I think you do if, like, you know, it's kind of like the love of her life. I mean, I wouldn't call it corpse playing. She's clearly trying to make him look real. Phillips, this is all Wanda. The Mephisto theory is gone. Yes, the Mephisto theory is gone. If you watch this episode, you find out everyone in the town is a real person. They're all being controlled by Wanda's, like, the power of Wanda's delusion, which has consumed the town. Madness. They're not going to show everybody on the board. That's just a representative example to show you that, like, oh, these are all people. We found some. So, they're not going to show everybody, but you have to understand that, like, if they have most of the people there, it represents that everyone there, This reminds me of Sasori from Naruto. His parents died, so he creates identical dolls and uses them for comfort. Yeah, kind of. The Mephisto theory never made any sense. He was too big for a villain for miniseries. Agreed. Yeah. It's Arcade. Makes sense. Also, the thing is, Mephisto is a weird character. Because I know he shows up in a lot of Spider-Man stories, like One More Day, so I don't even know if they would have the rights to him. He might be tied up in the Sony Spider-Verse, I wonder if everyone are aware that they are trapped in that pocket town. I think to some degree they are. Like Herbert clearly is, remember? Like he wanted to tell Vision something. Agnes kind of is, and she's like, shh, So I think they're trying not to rock the boat. And then, like, Wanda's fixing all the damage. I mean, she flew through all their houses, so clearly they're afraid of her, And she's creating, things like the babies to kind of keep her happy, And she just used her power, so she turned around. This is what I mean, her power isn't infinite. After she used that big blast of power, Vision's image is all the dead body, I think that all demons or devil characters like Mephisto can show up on Blade. Not here yet. Possible. So, is she sleeping with a dead Vision? Yes. See, and then Vision goes, what? What's wrong? And then she blinks, and then he looks normal again. So the fact that she actively had to think of him as normal makes you think that he is just corpse. Yeah. No, because he said, what's wrong? And then she had to close her eyes and use her power to make him look normal. Yeah. That's also to let us know that her power isn't infinite. If she gets distracted, things go awry. Yeah, I mean, she's not well, like that, what's that saying that absolute power corrupts absolutely, And then how the song is always kind of like a thing, like the kids are voodoo children. No, Mephisto has nothing to do with this show. Mephisto is an animated body, which is gross enough. I hope he actually is in it. I've heard that rumor, but until it happens, I'm just going to call it a rumor. But I think it'd be cool if he showed up as Pietro, but he was wrong, like Pet Cemetery wrong. Like, that's not Pietro, Of course I am. All right, I'm going to call it a day. This is a good chat, though, you guys. I'll do it again next week. So if you guys want, subscribe next week. I'm going to do a spoilers and theories video. I know, it looks so creepy with the chunk missing where they took out the Infinity Gem. Yeah, follow me, and like I said, I'll set up another reaction watch for next Thursday, and I'll answer questions and everything. I could remembering wrong, but did Darcy know that Jimmy got through to Wanda but did not tell him? Oh, yeah. I thought it was a good discussion, too. I enjoyed it. I think Darcy knew that he got through to Wanda. It just happened. Just because stuff happens off screen and we don't see it, It's just their different efforts in putting it together. They can't show like, oh, I talked to Wanda. Oh, really? Like, we just have to assume these things happen because like time's moving forward, and they only have a half an hour. But yeah, if you enjoy the discussion, like, just subscribe to my channel, and we'll do this again next week. And I'll have a spoiler video, like where I put in my theories based on what we were all talking about. And yeah, cool, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, we're just gonna keep doing this the rest of the season. So, and then I have like videos I've done the last few weeks too. Well, I'll do this last one. Vision, if you watch like Age of Ultron, he is a robot, but he's a he has a soul, you know. He's a combination of the mystical properties of the mind gem, which had like a consciousness, and the mind of Tony and Bruce and Jarvis. So he's a person, and that was all like an overlay. And like, sure, he wasn't able to save his consciousness, if you will. So whatever Vision is on the show is just what like Wanda knows of him from their relationship. He's like an incomplete being. You know what I'm saying? And that might be good enough for her because she's trying to make it work, but it's not like it's not Vision's like soul or purpose. It's like a thing that is like him. Yeah, that's my thought anyway. I could be wrong, but that's just how it's coming across to me. All right, but for real, it's like 2:11 in the morning, so I'm totally gonna crash out. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. Like I said, feel free to subscribe. I would love to have this chat again next week, and I will go on and talk to you guys as long as I have time. But I really enjoyed this chat, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Cult Classics, Victor Moreno, and thank you for watching WandaVision with me. Enjoyed it. You guys rocked. Thanks again. Hit that subscription icon. We'll talk again soon. All right. Later, guys.